What do you mean by last cycle? I mean, that sounds like so doomsday. What does that mean?
Yeah, I know. It's like it's the last of the 4 year cycles. It's the last of the this like if you look at the price chart over 12 years, we've had three prior cycles, and every one of those it's done a huge run up, it's done a huge pullback, but retains most of its gain from the last cycle. And then it's done it again and again. You know, the last one we went from below 200 or like 150 was the bottom, and it went to $20,000, and then it pulled back from $20,000. Imagine investing $20,000 and then like you come back to at the end of the year and it's like $3,200. Like that was the last cycle. That was the last. No, that was the previous cycle, and the ones before that was more carnage. And we waited like a year for that to purge itself. And I'm just saying that kind of experience is likely to not happen again if what I'm seeing plays out. And we just, yeah, so if if we were to look back in like 10, 20 years time and we look at the price chart of Bitcoin, you go, look, there's three cycles, whoop down. And then on the fourth time, it doesn't do that pattern. And it becomes like this drunken wander of price discovery as it finds its fair value as Bitcoin, spreads to 1 billion people or more, um, which is actually projected to do in the next 4 years. So
Yeah, I remember your tweet where you said that back in 1997, like you compared Bitcoin to the internet back in 1997, and today it's on track for 1 billion users, right? So it just goes to show that the adoption's even faster than the internet was.
yeah, it's faster than any other network. It's mobile networks, that was faster than the internet, and Bitcoin's rolling out faster than mobile networks. So it's got some pretty interesting consequences, right? Like in 4 years' time, if 1 billion people are on this network, and this network's growing at the rate of nearly double per year, um, we're going to see like a fair chunk of the world using this network by the end of the decade. In 4 years, 1 billion people. So like, it's huge consequences. Like this internet native currency that nation states don't like because they like to print their own money. Um, it's like this new force that has risen, and it's a challenger to the monetary standard that we have currently. So, like, if while the current trajectory is saying that there are huge ramifications geopolitically, and it's like 2% of the world is on this network. People will know it, they've heard of it, but maybe only 2.5% of the people. That's the best data we've got around that, of the world have it. Doesn't look like much, but this is all exponential growth. So, um, like, I think the Human Genome Project. I don't have the figures on hand, but it was like maybe 10 years to get to 1%. And the following few years, they finished the project because the technology and the growth of them sequencing the genome was going exponentially. So we're at 2.5% of the world population, and it's 12 years old, and that's not halfway. It's in the end game of Bitcoin's growth, because in 4 years, it's 1/8 of the world population. The other 4 years, it's like full saturation.
Got it. So when you mean last cycle, it's almost like you're saying that it won't be as volatile anymore. It's going to, as it continues to become a legitimate asset class and more people adopt it, you mean like last cycle as in it's not going to have these massive corrections. It'll just kind of continue to teeter up and find its fair market value?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the last whipsaw
Okay.
wave, 4 year wave. Yeah, it's a little bit like, I think Dan Howard popularized the term the super cycle,
Yep.
which is we skip a cycle, I guess. Like there's too much bullish activity that we skip this one, and I'm going one step further actually. once we skip the cycle, if we skip the cycle, the fundamental driver of these cycles is so inconsequential in power that there's no more cycles that we've seen, these big super waves. So it's this is the last super wave, and that super wave is the big one that lasts for a decade and keeps going up to, billions of people using it.
Perfect. Are there any on-chain indicators that institutions have been coming in and they just haven't announced it yet? Because I know there's so many people wondering, when are some of these big companies going to put it on their balance sheet the way MicroStrategy did? Are you seeing any indications of that?
Yeah, definitely. Someone bought a big, I'm just trying to look at my chart. Someone bought a big chunk in that lower $30,000 range. It looked like a fair chunk of $1 billion worth. And then someone else did it again. So I think there's a lot of unannounced buys and certainly the rumors. Rumorville amongst the people in the know, some of the journalists that I've talked to have talked about this, but no, I don't know names, but I've heard there's been major companies buying. I can see it on chain. Like there was 2 major buys, probably in the $1 billion class. One was in one was like 2 months ago when price was about $33,000. And then we had another chunk of buying on about 4 weeks ago as price started to really shoot upwards from that bottom. So yeah, there's been some significant buying, certainly. I'm interested to know who that is. If it's a public company, they'll have to divulge that. So September will be an interesting time when those third quarter reports come out.
As I start to wrap up here, going back to what we were talking about with the price being so high that it feels like a really big obstacle for a lot of people to get in because it seems really expensive at this point. What would you want to say to everybody? Like if you could just share with everyone your message about Bitcoin, what would it be?
Okay, so the sticker price is really the trap for new people. And actually a lot of the token projects increase their supply design so that it's priced in pennies so people think it's cheap so you can buy. Don't fall for that trap. If you want to look at this logically and rationally, what you want to do is you want to risk reward, right? As an investor, you're looking at how much reward can I get at maximum for the minimum amount of risk. And so you can calculate that. It's called the Sharpe ratio, which is the ratio of the actual returns you can get divided by the risk being how volatile those returns are. And you can run that. And it just turns out Bitcoin over the long run, and I mean, you can't run this across 1 month, right? You got to run this over a long period to get a good thing on it. Bitcoin is the best. It beats Ethereum. It beats any other asset class by a long shot. Stocks, real estate, emerging currencies. So what that means is, if you've got, say you're going to invest 5% of your net worth into Bitcoin. If you're going to do it in Dogecoin and you want to do a rational investment, you're not going to put 5% of your net worth in Dogecoin. You're going to put like a tiny little fraction because the risk is so high, but the return's high as well. And so like it's kind of this thing where like you can get misled. You have to really calculate the risk out. And I've never seen anything that beats Bitcoin over the long term in that lens as an investor. But if you're a trader, that's a different story. And I think that is what people end up doing. They want to trade, but that is another journey. And if you're going to take that journey, don't put too much in because your goal to trade is to learn as much as you can for the amount of money you're going to lose, because you will lose it. You're trading against other people, and if you're new, they're going to have more information than you do.